This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, May the 10th, 1991. Now, I know that May 10th was huge in the hockey world because of that being Bobby Orr and Guy Lafleur. However, if you look at my Sports Catastrophe May chronological playlist, I've done those two already, so I can't repeat myself. But anyway, something else major happened. In 1991, yes, that team, the Minnesota North Stars, shocked the world by going and getting a Stanley Cup Finals berth. Now, the story of the 91 Minnesota North Stars was humongous in its own right. After a disappointing 7-game loss in the first round to the Blackhawks in 1990, things were huge. The Gunn brothers, George and Gordon, were trying to sell their interest in the Minnesota North Stars for potentially moving the team to the Bay Area where they were based off of with their business stuff and all that. There were a lot of people that weren't too happy with it, but chronic attendance problems were going to make the owner, the Gunn brothers, move to the Bay Area. However, the NHL made a compromise. The Gunn brothers would be given an expansion team in the Bay Area instead of moving the Stars to San Francisco. They would have an expansion team in San Jose and would pick up players from Minnesota via a dispersal draft with the North Stars. And then the North Stars would compete in the expansion draft with the San Jose Sharks for players from the 20 other teams. So Howard Baldwin and Morris Belsberg bought the North Stars as part of the deal for $38 million. So it all worked out. However, Norman Green would actually purchase 51% controlling interest in the North Stars, so he was technically the owner. And then Green would pick up 75% control by 1990. However, in 1991, the North Stars were in a free fall. 27 wins, 39 losses, 14 ties in 80 games. 12 games below 500, and it looks like, a team like that, why are you going to make the playoffs? Well, back in those days in the NHL, there were 4 divisions. The top 4 teams in each division would fight each other. It's not like today's format with the divisional round. 4 teams would move on. And it was 4 teams from the same division and all that. Normally, though, it would work out. The 8 teams from each conference would actually be the top 8 teams by points per conference. In 91, that was not true, as Philadelphia had 76 points but failed to qualify for the playoffs, whereas Hartford had 73 and made it because they were 4th in their division. So the North Stars were 12 games below 500. The good news, though, is that they were actually in the playoffs because the only other team in the North Division were worse, and that was the 91 Toronto Maple Leafs. So the North Stars, because they took 4th place in the Norris, would have to take on the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round. I actually covered that in a earlier Sports Catastrophe about the Stars upsetting the Blackhawks. But to be fair, the North Stars used the power play to their advantage and took down the Hawks in 6 games. And the Hawks won the President's Trophy, or the best record in the NHL that year. And they were hosting the All-Star game, and Ed Belfour was coming into his own. How did the North Stars take down Ed Belfour like that? Well, the North Stars would then have to face the team that only finished 1 point behind the Blackhawks in the division and the NHL standings, the St. Louis Blues. So everyone thought that St. Louis was this hot jet team, with Adam Oates. Adam Oates came in 92, Brett Hall, and a few other people, even Scott Stevens. St. Louis looked pretty good. Unfortunately, though, the North Stars somehow, in some way, took down the Blues in 6. So the Minnesota North Stars would now face the Edmonton Oilers for the right to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton were the defending champions, so they were trying to prove that they could win titles without Wayne Gretzky. And lo and behold, on this day, May 10th, 20, what am I thinking? 1990, Minnesota ended Edmonton season with a 5-game series. Edmonton was shocked. How did the Minnesota freaking North Stars do all that? How did they take out the President's Trophy winner, the President's Trophy runner-up, and the defending Stanley Cup champions in a row? They just, I don't know. It was just like shocking and all that. Now, a couple of things about the 91 playoffs was that the North Stars became the first team from the North Division since the realignment, because the NHL realigned for the 81-82 season and went with the divisional playoffs and not the 1-16 playoff format. So because of that, no North Division team got to the Stanley Cup Finals. It was usually the winner of the Smite Division, or, the division that contained the Oilers, the Canucks, the Flames, the Kings, and the Jets. So logically, you knew you had a Canadian team every year reach the Stanley Cup Finals, or at least attempt to. Yeah, because Vancouver in 82, Edmonton 83, 84, 85, Calgary 86, Edmonton 87, 88, Calgary 89, and Edmonton 90. So because of Minnesota taking on the others, it marked the first time since 1981, 10 years prior, that the Stanley Cup had no Canadian teams in it. It was an all-American affair, which was shocking. And let's not forget that the North Stars actually were part of that 1981 final against the Islanders, and lost, but still. And in fact, this was the first time since 1973 that the playoffs had no sweeps in it. Every series went at least 5 games. Well, the Minnesota-Edmonton Conference Final and Pittsburgh-Washington in the second round were the only series that went under 6 games. Fewer than 6 games. The North Stars would battle hard. They actually won Game 1 in Pittsburgh, 5-4. And then, of course, Game 2, we all remember that, for Mario Lemieux's solo dash past 2 North Stars and faking out John Casey before putting it in the net to tie the series up. The North Stars would win Game 3 on home turf 3-1, and it was like the North Stars were going to make a power move. Now, Pittsburgh wasn't a fantastic team. Well, Pittsburgh won the Patrick Division. I thought Pittsburgh was like second or something. But no, Pittsburgh won the Patrick Division. Okay, so they won their division. Fine. Pittsburgh went into the Met Center for Game 4 and won 5-3. Game 5 saw the Penguins beat the North Stars 6-4. And then Game 6 was that disastrous one with Pittsburgh crushing Minnesota like a grape, 8-0. I don't remember if I talked about that one, but anyway, it was just terrible. I mean, the North Stars had some great movements and all that. And, that was just huge. Then the North Stars went to the finals. They lost. Okay, fine. But now the North Stars had a problem because their team basically would be broken up because the Sharks would be able to take some North Stars players and all of that. The North Stars were allowed to project 14 players from selection in the expansion draft. The North Stars only lost 4 players from their NHL roster to San Jose. Many of the Sharks' selections were from the minor league affiliates of Minnesota. The North Stars shocked a lot of people by actually making the playoffs. Well, they made the 92 playoffs. And they were actually up 3-1 on the Detroit Red Wings. And it looked like the North Stars were going to actually pull another one out of their hats. Another run out of their hats. But somehow, in some way, they choked that 3-1 series lead to Detroit. Including that famous Game 6 overtime goal by Sergei Fedorov that actually saw the first instance of instant replay in the playoffs ever. The puck went in under the crossbar. So anyway, the North Stars would last one more year in Minnesota, and then of course Norman Green would sell the team to Dallas, spurning Minnesota, a great hockey market. Minnesota would wait 7 years till 2000 to get their own franchise back and get the Minnesota Wild, and they went on a few runs but didn't get to the finals. So bad luck, bad luck. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm gonna do.